Welcome to exploring, healing, and expanded consciousness and awareness through a shamanic journey. In this recording is where I will answer your most frequently asked questions regarding what to expect within a journey and how to prepare, and any other related questions. So what can you expect? It is important to note that everyone's experienced shamanic journey is unique to you in how you may experience it and what you may therefore encounter, learn, feel, perceive, and even experience. It is therefore crucial to do your best to not have or come in with any expectations in this regard. For example, you may be under the conditioned belief that seeing is believing, and hold this in your expectation for your shamanic journey as the only way to validate what you may experience. However, this is likely to disappoint if so, as this expectation would actually more likely suppress how the journey would authentically want to present itself to you when you would be in the space of receptivity and allowing, which could be through other more open intuitive channels that you actually may be more receptive to. It is also within this very example to note that what we see of the visible spectrum is a very small fraction of all that is in the energy frequency spectrum of reality. And so you can only see a small portion of what is. And so if you subscribe to the belief that only seeing is believing, well, then you truly do shortchange yourself in the potentials of possibilities of what you may likely be able to experience, not only within your journey, but in your actual reality as well. So just because you don't see something does not mean it does not exist. Just because you don't see oxygen or air, that does not mean it does not exist and that it is not all around you. And just because you cannot see gravity does not mean it does not impact you in this physical experience. So just because you may not be able to see spirits or sentient beings or God, creator, source, or consciousness does not mean it does not exist. However, it is possible within your journey to perceive such higher dimensional consciousness through seeing with clairvoyant ability. However, as mentioned, that is not the only valid means of how you may experience this, as you may be more receptive to, say, feeling as an empath, and so therefore your journey may reflect what you connect to more on this level. Or perhaps you may be more receptive to clairaudient abilities and be able to hear more clearly, or claircognizant, where what you experience or connect to comes through more telepathically as a sense of knowing or a download. So these are all valid, and the more open and receptive you are to allowing your shamanic journey to unfold as it may in whatever way it shows up for you, and by minimizing your expectation as such, you are therefore more likely to have a more profound experience, comparatively so. However, I do encourage you to reflect on what underlying expectations you might have, as well as any beliefs that you may hold domain. Meaning, just because you readily show up for a session does not always translate to meaning that you showed up open-minded or receptive and ready. Because our beliefs do hold domain, your reality is therefore a byproduct of your beliefs and therefore your shamanic journey as well. For example, you show up and you went through the motions to prepare, and so you assume this means you're ready. However, you also come in with, say, the belief or expectation that you won't get anything from your experience, or that it's probably just hocus pocus. But hey, you showed up, so it's not for lack of giving it a fair shot, right? Well, that's actually where you'd cut yourself short and experience a self-fulfilling prophecy, most likely anyhow. So again, self-reflect and take note of what comes up in this regard and become aware of such beliefs or expectations that may in fact be a hindrance in any way to your experience journey. And then, as I said, take note of this, write this down. And so ultimately, this then leads me into the question of how do you prepare for your shamanic journey? Most important to prepare is to reflect fully on your intentions or your questions on what you are seeking answers or guidance to. What do you hope to accomplish, to learn, to heal, or address while in your journey? There is definitely an art to intention setting, but it is very pertinent to the quality of what you may in fact get out of your journey to be clear and direct regarding how you express your intentions, as ultimately your intentions create almost a roadmap to what may be awaiting you once you are in an astral state. It unfolds as it is meant to. However, you'd have myself, Nicole Leanne, helping you to navigate your experience with your roadmap of intentions to help lead the way in creating direction of purpose. To help you with this, I designed my intake form to assist you in getting clear about your intentions and what you are seeking. And at the time of your appointment is where I will then consult with you regarding your answers and may wish to probe deeper with my own inquiries and questions so I can assess how I may best serve you. So I encourage you to fill out my intake form so that you can also get clearer on these intentions for yourself. You'll also want to be dressed comfortably for your session, as you will be laying down for at least 2 hours, and sometimes it can go longer. So after your consult and getting clear about your intentions and questions for your journey, it's essentially creating that roadmap, is when you will then be laying down and where I will then guide you into journey. I do incorporate different healing modalities and therapies while also working with clearing your chakras and auric field energetically. Through a guided meditation process, you will then be guided to fully relax both your mind and your body so as to allow your consciousness to bypass them and be led into the astral higher dimensional realms. You will then first be guided to essentially reunite with your higher self and to help clear your intuitive faculties so that they may best serve you while you are in your shamanic journey. You will then be guided to channel, which essentially means you'll be guided to be able to communicate and vocalize through your physical self whatever you are experiencing or connecting to in that astral state. And based on what you are sharing and in how you are experiencing it is how I will then be able to help you navigate what you are connecting to or what you are experiencing so that you can get the most out of your journey. Are there special instructions such as dieting before my journey? It is not necessary to diet beforehand. However, I do always encourage mindfulness to what you put in your body. So yes, there are some guidelines. It is recommended to not have any alcohol the day of or even the day before your shamanic journey. But, of course, this is a lifestyle choice that usually does not serve anybody's well-being at any time. And the same does apply to narcotics as well. That being said, it may benefit you to eat a clean diet the week leading up to your journey. But of course, this would be an ideal lifestyle choice for every day. The best foods to then eat would be fresh fruits and veggies. Stay away from processed foods as much as possible. Avoid GMOs if possible, and meat. Again, these are only recommendations, but they are not necessary for you to journey. However, before your journey, please eat a sufficient meal before your scheduled session so that you can avoid being hungry during your experience. So you may bring snacks with you if you are doing an in-person session. So what is the difference in experience between an in-person session and a remote or distant shamanic journey? So there is no difference in possible potential of what you may experience or connect to while you are in journey, irrespective of whether you're doing it in person or remotely. However, there is certain sensory modalities or therapies involved that may differ experientially based on whether or not you are doing an in-person or a distant session. Such as where for the in-person is where I would facilitate through a guided meditation that essentially systematically leads and guides your consciousness to bypass your body and mind to access the higher dimensional realms, and where, as mentioned, you will be guided to navigate that experience. I do pair this with laying of hands energy transmissions and moving of energy so as to help clear your major chakras and your energy field, your auric field. There are certain therapies involved that may include magnetic mattress therapy, also crystal light therapy, which is essentially color light therapy being emitted through quartz crystal vogels that are hovering over each of your major chakras, and so the colors do relate energetically through color therapy to your chakras. I include sound and vibration therapy. Your journey may include drumming, rattling, the use of crystals, and aromatherapy. And also, depending upon request and availability, sometimes plant medicinals and teas can be offered to complement your journey. Feel free to inquire about these. Also, I do offer purified, alkalized, and ionized water that I have energetically charged with healing sound frequencies. This would be transmitted via either the crystal chakra singing bowls or the tuning pipes that include frequencies for all the organs in your body, minerals, vitamins, the planetary tunes, harmonics, solfeggio tones, DNA, and brainwave states. So you are welcome to bring a bottle or a water bottle to fill up before you leave, and take some of this energized water with you. Obviously, that would be for an in-person session. For a remote or distant session, if you will, you on your end would need to be responsible for setting aside space and time to be comfortable in your space and hopefully be undistracted. So you may set up your space to meet your comfort standards, or to set it up with ambiance such as lighting of incense or candles. Just make sure that there's no way you would burn your house down. Also, if you would like an eye mask to block out any light, things of that nature to benefit you while in journey, that would be encouraged. That being said, in order to set up your session for a remote session, we would also need to discuss mutual availability, especially if we are in different time zones. You will then be guided over the phone, either via phone call or Skype, Facebook Messenger, or WhatsApp, whichever of these have the best connection. You will need to have headphones because I will be facilitating through the guided meditation, which, as mentioned, would systematically lead your consciousness to bypass your body and mind so that you can therefore access the higher dimensional realms, and where you will be similarly guided by me to help navigate that experience. I will also be connecting to you energetically at a distance and sending you energy transmissions. There may be some sound therapy and or drumming. Something also to take note of if you are going to be doing a remote session is that you will want to make sure that your phone is plugged into the charger during the session so that we prevent the likelihood of the call dropping due to, say, your phone dying. Are there any aftercare instructions or any side effects? So I do recommend that you don't have any or many obligations after your shamanic journey, mostly because you may want that time after to reflect on your journey and to journal or record your experience. And depending on what you process from your journey, you may feel tired or fatigued after, and so therefore it may be in your best interest to rest. The time after is needed to essentially honor yourself. So that can be rest, or to actually sleep, paint or draw, to journal, perhaps hike out into nature or take a bath, maybe with some Epsom salts and essential oils, maybe to meditate, etc. So these are just some of the examples of things that you may be called to do to honor yourself after your journey. So if you are able to free up your time after for yourself, I would recommend this so that you can best process your journey afterwards. Also, I do suggest making sure to keep properly hydrated and to take some vitamin C or an emergency packet, just so that you can boost your immune system after. Because anytime essentially you receive energy work, you are likely to stimulate a detox, much like if you were to get a massage. So it is possible to get a cold or the flu after if you did not properly hydrate and flush out those toxins. And for this very reason, it is also important to avoid alcohol after as well. Are there any contraindications I need to be aware of to be able to do this shamanic journey? So one thing to keep in mind is that the use of heavy pain medications may affect the overall quality of your journey, as it can essentially numb you or even sedate your experience. However, it is definitely not recommended to continue your session if you are in a lot of pain. Unfortunately, this is a big hindrance to a journey. Think of it like this. It is very difficult to experience an out-of-body experience or an astral experience if you are essentially consumed by physical pain. You would ultimately, therefore, be completely embodied in body. So, if you need pain medication to alleviate pain for you, as long as it is in a moderate dose, then you should be fine and be able to continue with your shamanic journey. But if your pain threshold is, say, above a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, it would probably be best that we reschedule your session for a later date when you are feeling better and where your tolerance level is able to, say, lay down for a few hours and not be limited by the intensity of your pain. Hopefully this answered all of your questions. You are welcome to email me as well any of your questions and or your inquiries if I did not answer any of them in this recording. So I look forward to connecting with you soon and hopefully be able to be your guide and facilitator for your next shamanic journey.